Hearing myself say it still tastes like bile, my wife cheated. You never imagine the person you build a life with will turn and stab you in the back. That's the cruelty of betrayal. It comes from where you least expect it. It started on a Tuesday evening. I came home earlier than usual, planning to surprise her with dinner. Instead, I was the one taken by surprise. Her phone vibrated on the kitchen counter. I glanced at the lock screen preview without thinking. The message lit up like a match dropped into gasoline. Last night was incredible. I can still smell your perfume. For a long moment I was frozen. The words slammed into me. My hands went numb. My chest felt hollow. When she stepped out of the shower humming as if everything were normal, I looked at her and said one word. I know. The color drained from her face. There was no shame in her eyes, only a kind of detached calm. I'm sorry, she whispered, but I don't love you anymore. 10 years dissolved in an instant. I packed a bag and left. I couldn't stand another second under that roof. I went to my best friend Ryan's house. He didn't ask questions when I showed up with a duffel and a shattered heart. He opened the door and said, "You can stay as long as you need." What he didn't mention was who else was there. His sister, Emily. Emily had been around for years, younger than us, kind but incisive, with a stare that saw straight to the bone. That first night, I could barely sleep. I lay awake, replaying every lie, every hollow smile my wife had given me. I wanted revenge, but I didn't know how to shape it. The next morning, Emily knocked and offered breakfast. She watched me quietly for a while and then said, "She doesn't deserve your silence." When I asked what she meant, she leaned in and explained. Emily had seen my wife before, not just with the man from the message, but with several others. She'd been careless, moving through places she thought nobody would notice. Emily had held the secret for months, but seeing me broken made her stop holding back. "You've been lying to him for over a year," she said softly. "It's not just one number." The blood drained from my face. What I thought was one betrayal turned out to be a pattern. Rage rose inside me like a furnace. It wasn't only betrayal anymore. It felt like humiliation, like I'd been made a fool. Over the following days, I stayed with Ryan, and Emily and I talked. She knew details, names, places, times. With each piece, my plan sharpened. I wouldn't collapse, beg, or scream. I decided I would strip away everything she cared about and leave her with regret. Step one was exposure. With Emily's help, I gathered proof, photos, timestamps, locations, and Ryan helped me organize it into a neat file. Instead of confronting her alone, I sent the evidence to everyone who mattered to her. Family, friends, co-workers. Her carefully constructed life shattered overnight. Step 2 was legal. I'd already consulted a lawyer. With Emily's testimony and the evidence in hand, the divorce swung in my favor. We split the accounts, sold the house. What was ours was divided, and she was left trying to pick up the pieces. Step 3 was personal. She had expected me to crumble, to be left broken and pathetic. But Emily kept reminding me that betrayal didn't make me less. It made me harder, sharper. One night, sitting on the porch with the stars above, she asked, "Are you ready for what comes next?" I nodded. I was ready to let her watch me rebuild. When the divorce was final, my ex called, sobbing and begging for another chance. I didn't hesitate. "No," I said, "you had your chance." For the first time in months, I felt unburdened. Emily hadn't only given me the truth, she'd given me strength. Revenge, for me, wasn't about cruelty. It was about rising, living fully, boldly. So she would always wonder what she'd lost. Betrayal cut deep, but the person holding the knife doesn't always win. I walked away with the freedom to rebuild, and with the quiet satisfaction of knowing I'd become someone she could no longer touch.